Hello guys, it's Ronan here with QuickCast TCG, and today I've just got a quick look at the Lapis 4 spoilers for you guys. So just for this video, I'm just going to assume that you've already seen the spoilers and read the cards. If you haven't, there's a link in the description to the spoiler article, and I'll have the images up on screen, obviously, of each card. So first off, we've got the Light Ruler for this set. We've got Book of Light slash Re-Earth, the New World Fairy Tale. So on the ruler side, obviously playing Wheel of Hope cards for any colour is pretty good, but obviously it remains to be seen how many more Wheel of Hope cards they're going to print and how good they are. So obviously the playability of this card solely relies on Wheel of Hope cards being good, which I think they really need to print some good Wheel of Hope cards if they're going to make forced tribal cards like this. So looking at the J Ruler ETB, we can see that you're paying the cost to put something from your sideboard into the field that's a Wheel of Hope resonator. This is pretty weak, especially when you look at something like Fox and the value he can get from pulling something in from the sideboard. It's just paying X to get something in of that cost is pretty weak. I would have at least liked to have seen search for an X+1 or something. Because you are giving up a stone when you judgment, and that's putting you behind a little bit. So it would have been nice to see something sort of like that to make up for that cost. So yeah, obviously the playability solely depends on Wheel of Hope cards, but it looks decent as long as Wheel of Hope cards are good and we get some sort of instant value resonator that can be pulled in from your sideboard. Moving on to Millium. Millium's probably the best target to pull in from the sideboard at the moment, I would think. 3 cost 8/8, Wheel of Hope. Other resonators with Wheel of Hope get +2/+2 in barrier, which is good. And then Seal 5, he gets barrier. So obviously as long as you have 5 stones, I would say this is a really good card. I like it. You wouldn't want to hard cast this. This is something you'd want to pull in with the J Ruler, but obviously it's a very low impact. You need to already have a field to pull it in, and it's vulnerable to counter spells if you play it from hand, which it's a prime target for Seal or something. But yeah, I think this is a good resonator. Obviously a staple in a Wheel of Hope deck. But yeah, it remains to be seen how good the archetype will be. So looking at Zero now, Zero the King's Blade. This is probably the best resonator to be spoiled in this article, I would say. So we got a 2-drop 6/6 quick cast. So great body already. Wheel of Hope, which is great. 6 Sages is a relevant archetype for Wanderer, if you play Wanderer. Your opponent cannot draw more than 1 card each turn. This is fantastic ability. It's great. I think this card alone is really good against Turbo Feasting. Shuts down a lot of their draw engines. So the thing with this card is it's quick cast, which is amazing. So they tap to banish Guinevere. Then in response you play this. They can't draw any cards, but they still have to discard, and the resonator still gets banished. Insane value for 2 costs. The only problem is it's double light, so outside of Wheel of Hope decks I'm not sure how reliable it is to be getting double white early game. I can see this in Alhamat or the Zero Death and Taxes list that's going around. That's also pretty good. Yeah, but it's a good card. Also in Alhamat it can be used in combination with Rising from the Depths. Because of its second ability, resonators you control cannot be returned to their owner's hand. That's not really relevant at the moment. There's not much stuff that bounces. But yeah, that could be good comboed with Alhamat, who can also easily get double white. But yeah, it would be obviously be fantastic outside of Wheel of Hope if it wasn't white. Moving on to Strange Miracle. This is probably the worst card in this spoiler, I would say. It's just not good. It doesn't have quick cast. If it had quick cast, it would be great. but not having quick cast is just destroys the card for me. Chant protection is not very good. The only way I would see this getting play is in an ancient magic deck, because it is an ancient magic, so in Alphamart you can use it as a one drop cycle a card. Yeah, just even when the seal's active, it's not very good. The seal is 7, so it's pretty bad. Yeah, I just don't like it. Moving on to Pandora, we can see it's a 2-drop 4/7 Will of Hope. Not very good stats there. It's alright. Whenever Jerison blocks, so that ability is not very relevant. It's just a 1/1. Release the seal abilities, which pretty much just means you don't need to meet the requirements to get the seal text. There's only 2 seal cards at the moment. I think for Millium it's pretty good, but 5 stones isn't the worst to get. And obviously Strange Miracle is just a terrible card, in my opinion. So yeah, obviously if they print some good, really big bomb seals, it could be good. Obviously you can pull it in with the J Ruler, and then combo off with some really good seal cards if they print them, which would be nice. But yeah, it's very situational. Remains to be seen how good this card will be. Sacred Record of Fairy Tales. This is not very good in my opinion. I'd say it's better than Strange Miracle, but still very bad. There's going to be better turn 1 plays, or you can save your mana to quick cast something. Or, yeah, it's just you don't want to spend 1 mana to search. We can see the 1-drop blue spell, Summon from Memoria, that sees no play. And it's sure it's 1 card less, but you can pick anything. This digs slightly deeper, but it's obviously only for Will of Hope stuff. Unless there's a ton of more specific, like a ton more specific use Will of Hope resonators, good quality ones that you can just pack your deck with, and I think this would see some play. Just being able to sort of toolbox what you need. But yeah, remains to be seen what Will of Hope cards are printed, but doesn't look too good at the moment. And another thing to point out with this and Strange Miracle, they're not actually Will of Hope cards, so you do need to actually pay the white mana to cast them. So even though the J Ruler lets you play Will of Hope cards for any mana, these actually aren't Will of Hope cards. So yeah, you have to pay white, which is arguably the worst color at the moment. Yeah, unless I'm misunderstanding it, I do believe it. Like this Will of Hope in Sacred Record of Fairy Tales doesn't count. So you would have to play this with white. But that's how I believe it works. So white's not very good. And then the last card, Ryula's Violation. This and Zero are my 2 favorite cards of this spoiler. I think this is absolutely insane value. On a Will of Hope resonator, that is. Outside of Will of Hope, this is just not worth it at all. You would not play this. Well, maybe fringe playability outside of Will of Hope. But yeah, I think this is instant include in Will of Hope deck, as long as Will of Hope is actually half decent. Because it is actually reduced to 1 void. It takes away the white cost and 1 void, leaving 1 void, which means you can play it with other colors, which you probably are because of the ruler ability. And a 1 void +8/+8 barrier and flying. You know, that's just really it's just awesome value for 1 will. You know, that's like a rapid growth, Streams of Flight, and Magic Suite all in one. It's just got so many uses. Can use to push through lethal because it gives flying and +8. You can surprise block something bigger, so you know, so they swing in with a Guibar thinking they're going to hit you in the face, and then you buff your 0 and block, and then your 0 actually has 14 stats, which is bigger than Guibar. Yeah, it's just fantastic. It can be used to protect something if they're trying to kill it, because it gives barrier, obviously. The barrier is not too relevant if you have Millium out, however, with the seal, obviously. Yeah, I think it's just an auto include in Will of Hope decks. So my overall thoughts on the spoilers, obviously it's a very forced tribal archetype, so we need to see more cards. It's looking decent at the moment. The ruler's looking a bit weak, I'd have to say, considering you're setting yourself back a stone just to play something from the sideboard. And the only real decent target from the sideboard at the moment is Millium, which, you know, is good, but I don't know if it's worth setting yourself back that much. I think the protection chant, Strange Miracle, should have been a quick cast. It's just useless at the moment because it's not quick cast. This deck at the moment obviously can't contend with a Prissy list at all. So I don't think it'll be taking top spots at GP at this rate unless they spoil some good cards. Yeah, I just think Force of Will overall needs, if they're gonna put in forced archetypes like this, they really need to support it some more. Like, we need to see some good Will of Hope cards, in order for this to be relevant at all. Yeah, overall I think Zero's probably the only card you would play outside of Will of Hope. Maybe Strange Miracle in an Alhamat. And then obviously Zero's double white, so outside of Will of Hope, you've only got select decks that play it. But yeah, so I'll try to be doing one of these videos for each spoiler article. Obviously spoiler articles are Tuesday and Friday midday Australian time, or I believe Monday, Thursday, 10 PM American time is the release articles. But yeah, so far I'm liking the look of this new set. Looks good. I'll have the box topper images come up for a second here if you want to look at those, and the playmat. The playmat looks amazing as well. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next spoiler article, and yeah, take it easy.